Hello there, Mr. P here. Today we're going to look at part 6 of our bit of writing. The next video will be the last one. So without further ado, let's crack on. I'm going to jump into my little box and let's find out what we did in the last video and what we're going to try and do today. Okay, so I need to do that and that into the box. Ooh. Okay, here we go. So let's have a little think. What did we do in part 4? Let's just have a quick recap. Where did we look at? We looked at, oh yes, I remember now. So the drone drops these cameras. The cameras are chasing. It's got these flares. Throw the flares behind. Doesn't stop them. Tries it again. Doesn't stop them. And then we need to try something else. How many flares have they got left? They've got one left, so it's getting a little bit tight. What did we look at here? We looked at the relationship between clauses, and that is absolutely key to be a good writer, understanding how clauses join together and playing around with this idea. Knowing when to join clauses together and also when not to join clauses. Sometimes a short, powerful one-clause sentence is exactly what you need for impact in your writing. So really understanding how you can have fun with clauses is really a key point. Okay, so try and put some of those in your writing. Think about your clauses and how they fit together. Okay, so we're up to here, aren't we? So part 5 is, what did I say? Oh, it's not part 5. I've done that wrong, haven't I? It's not part 5. It's part 6. That's what I said. I'm getting confused here. I apologize. Right, I'm okay now. So we've got part 6, the chase, and it's the final chance for our hero, for our character, to maybe stop these camera droids that were flickering after them. So it's the last chance, the chase, the final chance. If they don't get this right, then they're going to be toast, aren't they? So if you haven't watched the video, you need to go and watch the video. The video is called Ruin. You can find it on YouTube or you can find it in the literacy shed, and you'll need to have a look at part 1, the introduction of this series of videos in order to find the links there. But if you type in Ruin to Google, you will get there. But you've got to watch that video, or else this doesn't really make much sense. I've got slides. I'll watch the video. Okay, so let's just refresh our memory. What happened? So they're still going really, really fast, aren't they? As fast as the bike would go. And I loved that in the video. I don't know whether you heard, there was this lovely little close-up, and you could hear the bike rattling. You know, I've got here sort of bits threatening to throw themselves off the bike, and I really felt at this point the bike was going so fast, it was being ridden so hard that it might fall to pieces. Yeah, and I think that I'm trying to get some of that into your writing is going to give this idea of urgency and speed, isn't it? Then there was a tunnel up ahead. If only they could get to the tunnel. There it was, like a dark mouth ready to swallow them or something. Yeah, it does look kind of like a mouth, doesn't it? And I think we use what's called simile, don't we, where we describe objects or things or even feelings as something else. So this tunnel, it's a tunnel, but it looks like a mouth, doesn't it? It's not a mouth, but it looks like a mouth, and we can use this simile just to add to the description. So there they are. This is their plan B, isn't it? If only they could get to the tunnel. Now, we don't want to tell the reader what the plan B is just yet, but we need them to know that they need to get to the tunnel. If only they could get to the tunnel, they would have a chance. There it was, like a dark mouth ready to swallow them. They flew inside. You know, get that tension going. Okay, once inside the tunnel, I love this bit. I love the way that it changes. The light, the quality of light changes. So the tunnel was pitch black. Pitch black means there's no light, very, very dark. They were plunged into darkness. Plunged is to be forcefully pushed into something. They were plunged into darkness. The chasing drones flicked on their lights, and there was a ghostly white light. And I love the change of sort of feeling there, excuse me, of how it goes from pitch black, these lights come on, and then there's this ghostly white sort of feeling to it, isn't it? The tunnel was dangerous. Abandoned cars leapt out of the darkness wildly, and I like that in the chase, where their carriage was over the handlebars, and they're dodging left and they're dodging right, and these cars seem to leap out, and we get a real sense that, you know, this is a really dangerous tunnel. It might be their last chance, but actually it might be their last chance for other reasons. So then there's suddenly the missiles locked onto their target. She was caught in a grid as the drones calculated how they're going to take their first shot. I got they panicked there, so she panics. So she knows what's happening here, and she knows that they're being in. And I thought this was really, really exciting. Where here the droids take a shot, don't they? A laser smashed into the tunnel wall. She was covered in a shower of sparks. That's a really good expression, isn't it? And if you look here, you can see that as the laser whistles past and she leans out of the way, and a laser beam shot over her shoulder, covering her in a shower of sparks. Yeah, it's a good expression, isn't it? She drove faster. Remember, drove is past tense of to drive, isn't it? She drove faster. Then up ahead, they saw it. Now here, I think I hadn't decided that it was a she. So let's put she in, because I'm getting quite into this character now. She drove faster. Then up ahead, she saw it, and there, can you see in the picture there is a sliver of light, a piece of light, a chunk of light that shows that there is light at the end of the tunnel. Sometimes we use this little phrase, the light at the end of the tunnel, just to mean hope. Yeah, and kind of the light at the end of the tunnel is her hope of escape, isn't it? There, up ahead, she saw it. Light at the end of the tunnel. If only she could get there. If only. Yeah. Will she be able to get there? Sometimes that in little questions might add to that tension, mightn't it? Remember, she's got one last bomb prepared on her bike. She reached for the last bomb. The camera droids locked on for their final shot. She wouldn't be able to escape them twice. Building up in tension. At the mouth of the tunnel, again, do you remember we talked about mouth earlier? At the mouth of the tunnel, or at the end of the tunnel, she threw the flare. Clunk! It stuck to the roof by the entrance, fizzing. And that's kind of that's her plan, isn't it? To try and use the mouth of the tunnel so that she can get out, and the tunnel is going to accentuate the power of the blast. And it works, doesn't it? It does work. The camera droids, they get caught in the explosion this time, and the whole of the entrance exploded, and the missiles scattered and bounced across the road. She's slowed to a stop, and I love this little moment where it's been so intense, hasn't it? Yeah, it's dodging in and out. And then there's a little moment where she stops the bike. So the missiles scattered and bounced across the road. She slowed to a stop. She looked back. You know, maybe things we could think about. What did she think, or what did she say? Or, you know, she could say something, finally she was safe, or finally she realized she was safe. And then, as she stopped there, the main drone rises up again, and she realizes that all of that was for nothing. She hasn't escaped, and she'd have to do it all over again. So there's that moment. So I just want to quickly, very, very quickly, just look at, something we do quite a lot. We describe our emotions using our inside of our organs. And we have like little phrases in English. We say things like, to think with your gut. And generally, we do our thinking with our brains, don't we? And our guts means biologically, means our intestines or our stomach. And if you have a gut feeling, it's where you're thinking with your emotions rather than thinking logically. And we use this a lot to describe those decisions or impulses that we have that we don't really think about, we just do. So to think with your gut and to have a gut feeling is a really, really powerful way of describing feelings. Quite often we talk about to have butterflies. Oh, I had butterflies in my stomach. I didn't really have butterflies in my stomach. It's just that sort of fluttery feeling I had in my stomach before something else important. And usually it means to be nervous, doesn't it? Okay, so here's just a few other little ideas that maybe you could play with to get your character to have some feelings without saying, she was nervous. It's a bit flat, isn't it? She was scared. Yeah, it's good. Play around with it. Use these inside feelings to sort of convey emotion. So have a look at this. Following on from the theme of guts, she was tense on the inside. Her inside's tensed. That tells us that she's getting anxious. Her gut's twisted. Tells us she's getting anxious. She's nervous. Her stomach knotted. It's a bit like the butterflies in her stomach, knotted. Tells us she's anxious, she's worried. Sometimes we also use our heart to describe our emotions. Now, our heart's job in the body is to pump blood. That's what it does. It doesn't have any emotion. All of our emotions are experienced and created in the brain. But we use our heart to talk about this idea of hope, of love, all of these things. So if we talk about our heart, right, her heart rose, that means she's become more hopeful. Her heart sank, she's become less hopeful. So maybe at the end there, her heart sank or her heart dropped. Her heart sank as she saw the drone rise once more. So this is got this idea of hope coming and going. She was heartened. That means she had more hope. She was heartened. She was determined not to be disheartened. So she was determined not to give up, not to be resilient. Yeah, she was determined not to be disheartened. So she's resilient. Yeah. Her heart pounded. Again, that's nerves, isn't it? So when your heart is pounding, it implies that you could be nervous. Yeah, we've done some exercise. As if her heart would burst. And this is a really, really common little phrase to talk about emotion. We can use our heart can burst with happiness. Our heart can burst with love. Our heart can also burst with disappointment. It can burst for a lot of things. Yeah. In fact, for a human, our hearts are popping all the time. And then sometimes, just what we call an onomatopoeia is where we use these words to describe a sound like thud, thud, a heart pounded. So maybe just these simple onomatopoeias are quite good for adding a little more impact. But don't overuse them though. Don't overuse them. All right. Okay, that's it really. Let's just have a quick recap. So we're at part 6, final chance. She goes off, the bike's falling to bits. She piles into a tunnel really, really quickly. The light changes. The camera droids try to shoot her. She dodges, shower of sparks. She sees light at the end of the tunnel. The final flare, will it work? Sticks it to the roof. It explodes and she takes out the camera droids and she has a little moment. Oh, I'm safe. And then the drone reappears and she's almost back to square one again. And that's as far as we're going to take it in this little session. Okay. we looked at some little ways to increase the reader's sense of her emotion using some of our insights, especially our guts and especially our heart. Anyway, so there's plenty there for you to have a play around with. Good luck with it, and I wonder if I'll ever read some of these. I'd really like to. So yeah, have some fun and enjoy your writing. Okay, well done. Cheers. Bye-bye.